never forget what it was like to get on live and have 0 viewers watching. Nobody really that interested in watching the replay, except maybe my mom. Shout out to my mom who watched all my stuff. But the point is that it really isn't fun. It feels like you are talking to no one, and it feels like all the work that you have done to get ready for, your live, or, whether you publish a new video because you've pre-recorded, all the work you've done to script it out and to plan it and to record it and to, make the time to make sure no one's going to interrupt you. Like, it feels like it's for nothing. And you start to then come up with all these reasons why maybe you're just not a video person. Like, maybe you're someone who just isn't good on camera, or you just don't have the nicest setup, or words don't come as easily to you as other people. And you start to convince yourself you're not this video person, because you've put all this effort in and it isn't exactly panning out the way that you might want. And so you're doing this really, really good job of convincing yourself not to continue. And I feel you. It can be tough when you don't have an audience yet. It can be tough when you don't have those viewers there, and you are going through this experience. But I can tell you, fast forward 6 years, I started my business in 2020 officially. 6 years later, there are 3 things that I would do differently, or I would do if I was starting from scratch with a video and wanted to make my life simple and easy. So first off, if you don't know who I am, my name is Alex Carmelli. I'm a video strategist. I live here in Austin, Texas with my husband, our daughter, our 2 dogs, and I have been helping entrepreneurs like you to get on video with ease and confidence. And I'm best known for my work in my $9 Video Skills Lab membership. But let's get into these. Let's get into these 3 things. So the first thing that I would do if I was starting from scratch with video is I would pick a time to consistently either go live or publish a video, release a video, or premiere it. And I would honor that commitment. I would make sure that I was following through on that commitment consistently and not breaking promises to myself. So when I started out in leadership coaching, before I was doing this video thing back in 2020, what I did was I started a Facebook group, and every single Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, without fail, I would get on live and do an epic training for whatever people were asking for. And I just consistently showed up at that time. And when you consistently show up at a time or consistently put something out there, number one, you are keeping a promise to yourself, which is going to build this ultimate belief in yourself. Like when you say that I'm going to put out 1 video a week, and then you do it 1 week, and then you stop for 3 weeks, and then you start for a week, and you stop for 5 weeks, and that on and off, you break that trust. That's so valuable. And if you cannot trust yourself, right, it doesn't bode well, because who can you really rely on? So that's the first thing. It builds this incredible trust. The consistency is going to hone your skill, and it's going to eventually build this incredible momentum. And when I say momentum, I mean when you start to sort of do things consistently, you get in flow. So meaning you are going to have topics that start to come in. You're going to start to feel more at home when you're speaking to your audience. You're going to start to feel more at home on camera. You're going to start to feel less reliant on a script and more like you can speak from the heart and speak authentically. And you're going to feel more confident in the person who is showing up on camera. So that's what I mean by momentum. You also get that from consistency. And the last piece to being really consistent is getting your audience to mark their calendars. So when I was going live every Tuesday at 7, I was always reminding people, hey, I'm going live Tuesday at 7. It's a consistent thing. I could invite people on a Google Calendar if I wanted to. I was sending emails at that same time every single week. And it just became this thing that people would invite other people to. It was so consistent, and it did wonders. And that was how I was able to get my first, I started the group in, I believe, March of 2020. And 6 months later, I had over 1,000 people in that group. I didn't have money to spend on ads. I didn't have money to do anything. But that's how I got that first. So if you're here live, because I see a bunch of people here live, say hey, drop me a hashtag live, or let me know if you have any questions. Or if you're watching the replay, you can drop me a hashtag replay too. But this is the first thing that I would do is I would pick a time and I would honor that commitment. All right. Second thing that I would do is I would double down. And I just realized my little banner is wrong. Here we go. I would double down on one platform, and it's showing up a little different, so that's fun. But I would double down on one platform. And what I mean by that is when I'll give an example. When I first started out, I was told that being everywhere was going to give me the best opportunity to just get in front of as many people as possible. But the reality is really two realities. One is jack of all trades, master of none. That meaning, each platform has its own needs and wants and desires and specifications, which we'll get into that. And I was kind of just dumping content everywhere without thinking about those needs. And because of that, my content just didn't perform very well because like I said, it was too much stuff and not kind of narrowing down. So we want to pick that one platform so that you can go all in. And it is super important to do this. And we want to think about it almost as like picking a home for your audience. And this isn't to say that you can't have like other platforms that you are utilizing as well. But at the very least, pick one home where you want to prioritize. Like if you feel the most comfortable on Facebook, great. If you feel the most comfortable on Instagram, great. Or YouTube or LinkedIn, pick that place where you feel the most confident, maybe where, if you have some audience, where that audience is now. And then you could have a secondary platform that you start on. So for example, when I started out, my main platform was that Facebook group that I told you about. I stopped posting everywhere. I just started posting in this one Facebook group and trying to grow that one thing. And then as my backup, I would also, post things to YouTube or sometimes I would post them to Instagram because we do want to make sure that like in case anything were to happen to your platform, like you have other reach and other spread as well. So that's super important. But going back to the idea that like each platform kind of needs its own thing. If you think about like what, if you're wanting to go live, right? And you want to do weekly lives, you need to think about one on TikTok and Instagram, you need 1,000 followers. So like maybe that's not the right place to get started if you want to go live. That's something to think about. Another thing to think about is like Facebook will delete lives after 30 days. So maybe if you're wanting to be live, like maybe those aren't the right places to start out right now. I actually think YouTube is probably the better place to start out. So we need to like be aware of those limitations. And then we need to, like I said, we need to play into like the strengths of the algorithm. So an example of this could be, when I am writing titles for my videos, I need to think about which platform that I'm going to go live on. So for example, when I'm writing titles for YouTube, I know that I need to be keyword focused. I need to be like whatever people are kind of typing in, very SEO driven and focused, versus on Facebook, if I'm going live, like in my private Facebook group or, even on my profile, like you can have any kind of title. It doesn't necessarily need to be like an SEO friendly title and still have it show up. Same thing, with descriptions on YouTube versus Facebook. Like there's a very different approach that ends up happening. Does this make sense to you guys? If you're here live or watching the replay, let me know if you have questions. But the idea is pick one platform, learn everything you can about that platform, learn its benefits, its limitations, learn how like you should be using it best. And then once you have got that down, once you have a system in place, you're making money from it, you're gaining new subscribers or followers or whatever because of it, and you have a reliable system, then start to branch out, learn the next platform if that's the thing that ends up making sense for you. Okay. Last thing that I would do and let me take this part off. Last thing that I would do if I was starting from scratch, no audience, This is going to be the needle mover in terms of growth, like audience growth. So yes, obviously you can grow from optimizing the platform, from doing the things that I just talked about, having the right titles and descriptions and understanding the algorithm. But collaborations are going to be your absolute best bet in 2026 and even beyond, even if you are watching this beyond. And the reason that I am saying that this is one of your best bets is because collaborations are how you are going to allow yourself to build amazing connections with people in your industry. It's where you're going to be able to get to know someone else's audience in a really cool, authentic way. And it's where you can potentially make some money. Like maybe in that interview that you do, this guest interview, you are allowed to promote the guest's offer, and like you have people that end up buying. So they have some like really, really cool opportunities. And basically how this works is you want to invite people on who have the same audience as you, but are non-competing. So for example, if I decided to interview an expert who was really, really good with tech and like built studios for, video podcasts or, people who are running live shows, like me, I'm really, really good at the content part, the scripting part, the clarity piece, the planning piece. I don't love doing the tech side of things. Most of my offers, that is not it. Like most of my people record really simple videos like on their phone or sitting at their computer, and those work really, really well. So I'm not that person, but I could collaborate with someone who has this tech experience because we do have the same audience, but we're not focused on selling the same things. We're not focused on helping people in the same ways, but our people have similar goals. So what would happen is I would invite this person on. We would pick a time to either go live or pre-record the interview. And my goal would be to essentially, ask them really good questions that are going to bring the audience a lot of value. And I would also make sure that I have created like graphics and swipe copy and email swipe copy, social media swipe copy, all of that stuff so that this guest could promote to their email list, to their audience, right? And I'm able to either tag them in the video or, add them to it so that their audience is able to connect with me. And so if I do a really good job with it, this is a great way for people to start to get to know me, to start to position me as an authority while also building amazing connections with people in the industry. So if you're someone who maybe you don't have a ton of money to spend on ads or any money, and you don't have that audience yet, and you don't know a lot of people in the industry, this is a must. This is another strategy that I used back, when I was leadership coaching, that when I said I went from 0 to 1,000 people in my community was also because I was doing these live interviews. So I was doing my lives every single week, Tuesday at 7, and I was doing these interviews, which were just a game changer. So I think that this is so, so important. These are the 3 things that I would do. Hey, friend, let me know if you guys are here watching, if you have questions. But just to recap before I finish off, if you're wanting to grow, first thing I would do is pick a time and make sure that you are honoring that time. Be really consistent. After that, you want to make sure you have doubled down on one platform. Finally, prioritize guest interviews and collaborations. This is one of my favorite strategies. I also am actually going to be speaking at a summit on this topic in particular. It's Sarah Alpine's Collaborations That Monetize Summit. I have a whole presentation on this particular thing. So if you do want the details on that, it's a free event that's happening next month. Just comment summit ticket. I'll send you the details, or I'll pop it when it's available. And that's it for today. So if you enjoyed this live, let me know. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were before, whether you're watching live or watching the replay. And I am going to be consistently getting back on live every single week. It was a crazy rough start to 2026 with oh, my whole family getting sick and like a ton of work stuff that unexpectedly popped up. And it's just been too long. And so now I'm consistently kind of getting in this rhythm, which I'm really, really excited about. So I hope you'll be sticking around. Subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you all soon.